everyone, welcome back to another episode of City Slickers. I am again joined by my friend Skibbeth. Skib, how are you, my friend?
Hi man, hello everybody, doing well, thank you.
That's good. And we have a very early bird with us. This is Czardus. Czardus, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
I say early because it's 5:30 in the morning for you, which Skib and I are just so impressed that you are here talking to us because we didn't think this was going to happen. So thanks for getting up so early and doing this with us.
Yeah, no problem.
This is how a hero looks like.
Yeah. It's always the biggest thing for us, like trying to get the time frame and time zones just synced up, okay, and we're sort of running out of people because we are having a really hard time getting 3 people synced up for the same time zone. And then when you said you're in Chicago, I was like, okay, there's no way we can get this, and you're like, nah, 5:30 actually works well for us, so that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I get up this early normally so that I have a little bit of time to record in the morning before everybody gets up in the house. And so I'm recording at 5:30 anyway, I might as well just do this. So
that's amazing. I have a hard time stringing words together to make a sentence at 5:30 in the morning, so I'm pretty impressed. So you're in Chicago. I want to pick your brains a little bit about Chicago because that is a place that I find quite inspiring. The skyline of Chicago and just the downtown and the whole area around there just looks so incredible. Tell me a little bit about Chicago.
Yeah, I think it's a great city, and I love the story behind it too, where it started in the mid-19th century, and then it was a little town, and then it started to explode, especially after the railroads arrived, and then there was the Great Fires, so they replanned the whole downtown a bit, and then tried to have it more organized as well. So it's a lot of fun to go down there and see it and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I remember seeing some really great pictures of all the train lines that sat on the bay area, around the harbor, and then it just completely transformed, and now that's all parkland. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, actually, they filled in the lake a bit, and so it used to be that the land right by the shore was very marshy. And so I think they filled it in, and then they turned it into a park. And then that was part of the the plan of Chicago, the Burnham Plan. So it's really cool how they designed it and kind of incorporated some of that. And it's great to have that waterfront park and stuff like that. So
yeah, I feel like that's the go, isn't it? They usually turn all those old industrial areas into some beautiful parkland. I know that's the case in Sydney. All that sort of gets pushed out, and if anything, there's more green space than ever before. Just seems to be the way.
Yeah.
And I'm impressed because you're probably running the most City Skyline series at the moment than anyone else. There seems to be 3 or 4 series you got running on your channel at the moment.
Yeah, I have trouble digging into just one thing at a time. And so I tend to have a lot of different stuff. I have, I have 3 or 4 going on my main channel, and then I actually have 2 or 3 other YouTube channels where I'm doing other games as well. And so it's just fun to kind of have variety in my gaming there. Because I started YouTubing just because I wanted to be playing games, and I'm enjoying watching videos anyway, so I might as well just record this for myself. And so I'm doing this to play games. I'm not doing it necessarily to make videos. And so I need to be able to play games like Planet Coaster and Transport Fever and stuff like that. But yeah.
What are you doing on your other channels then? Are you playing similar sort of games?
Yeah, so I have a management games channel, and that one right now I'm doing a Planet Coaster series. I've also done Transport Fever there and Foundation, and then I also have a strategy games channel where I'm really digging into Crusader Kings 3 now. So then I have a Czardus Jr. channel that I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with that one, but I've made some videos where it's just Transport Fever and you're following one train for 5 minutes because my kid just wants to sit there and watch a video of a train all the time anyway. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm playing a game. Here, let's just record watching this train for 5 minutes, and then I put it on YouTube, and they're not getting very many views, but it's worthwhile anyway.
Skip's just going to get his bread out of the oven. Maybe we'll just keep on going.
Apparently.
Yeah. So that Czardus Jr., would that be something, you know, the box that you tick, there's the box where it says like, this is for kids when you upload a video to YouTube, and I'm always like, is this video for kids? But I don't think it is. I'm not swearing, it's not inappropriate, but I don't think it's for kids. Would that be the sort of box that you tick for that channel?
Yeah, I'm definitely ticking it for that channel, although I've been thinking, like, the content I'm making, I'm not really sure that it's really for kids, because I enjoy watching it just as much as my kid does, and so I don't know. But I figure, I mean, I'm definitely making it for a kid in mind, and so that's why I'm ticking the box anyway. But all it really does is it changes what ads can play, and right now it's not monetized anyway, so that doesn't really matter. But the other thing it changes is it turns off all comments, which makes it hard because I don't know the people who are watching it. I'm not getting really all that much feedback for it, so I don't know.
Yes.
I'm only making a few videos every
important.
once in a while with it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because it's a grey area, isn't it? You just don't know whether or not to tick that box. I mean, I know that you just don't tick that box unless you're specifically making videos for kids. But then kids can find your content regardless. But yeah, I guess it just refers to the ads. Skib, you weren't lying about those shorts.
No, man, they are very short. The shorts are very short.
I'm gonna have to blur
shorts.
that out. Oh yeah, I'm gonna blur that out.
No, don't do that, man. We need girls to. I mean, I don't think any girl is watching us, but still, you know what? Let it be like that.
No, they're not watching after. They're not watching after seeing that.
Oh man, that's Merle. Sorry for interrupting, but yeah, I have a bread. Oh yeah.
So Skib actually just left to pull his bread out of the oven. That is very. I'm so jealous. There's nothing quite like the smell of fresh bread in the house.
I totally agree with you, and I think I said that also in the previous or in one of the previous podcast episodes that I don't remember how I used to eat bread. I mean, to buy bread from the store or anything like that. My girlfriend bakes it almost once at 2 or 3 days. It's amazing having fresh bread in the house, and oh my god, the smell, everything. It's like, but yeah, I'm sorry for you guys if you are jealous.
Yeah, we're not jealous.
But I heard, because I kept my headphones, I heard that Czardus has also a YouTube channel for kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now saying that Czardus, okay, how should I pronounce your name?
Czardus. So like Zardus. Yeah.
Okay. But how did you manage to think at this name, or how did you choose your name?
Yeah, so it's actually, I do a lot of genealogy into my family history, and I found I have an ancestor named Czardus, and I think it's a really cool name and really unique. Like, I can't find anything on the internet of anybody in history using this name other than my own ancestor, and so I'm like, I'll use that for gaming. And then it turned into, like, when I was playing Skyrim, I was using Czardus as my character name, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just use it for my channel, and it's really hit like a good point. So,
do you know where this name is coming from?
I do
because
not.
For me, it sounds very
theories.
Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah. So my theory, so that I've tracked it down to a guy named Czardus as his given name, who was born in the United States in 1795, I believe, and we don't have anything before that. And my theory is that his parents were Scots-Irish, and they came to the United States, and then, or at least his dad was, because of his last name really seems very British. And then I think maybe his wife was from Eastern Europe or something, and then she really liked, there was a dance at the time called the Czardus dance. And so I'm thinking maybe she persuaded him to name him Czardus. I don't know, but we don't have any information about his parents at all, so it's like all conjecture at that point. But
how common's the name? Like, is it a name? Like, is this the only person that you know of having that name?
I can't find anybody else who has that name other than like he named a kid the same name, and there's a grandkid that has it as a middle name. But other than that, I can't find anybody else using it.
What a great legacy! Like, you know, I know you said that you used it as a name in Skyrim, but now it's the name of a channel, and not a lot of people know the name. So that's really cool. Yeah, it's a great way to pass on that legacy. I was curious as well. I always have to check the spelling. I always got to write it down, and then I'm like, oh God, don't know how to spell this.
I thought that this is like something like an Eastern European name. I mean, like some probably even from the Czech Republic, because usually they have these kind of combinations of letters like C and Z and so on, and that's why I was kept saying like Czardus or different than Czardus. Because usually the first two letters are being read a bit different.
Well, and it could be Eastern European.
It's nice.
Yeah, it could be Eastern European, and you could be pronouncing it the right way, and I'm just pronouncing it the butchered American way. So who knows? I mean, whoever...
I don't know. I don't really know. And now I'm curious. Google Translate. I want to see if Czardus. I want to hear how it's being pronounced. Okay. Czardus. Okay, let's see. And it's pronounced Czardus. If it's in Czech. Czardus. And in Polish. I don't know. Never mind. Sorry.
That's funny because my name is Welsh, and which I've got no family connection to Wales, but it's just a name that my parents plucked out of a baby name book and were like, oh, we're gonna name our child this. This is great. And I grew up saying my name for, I don't know, 20, 25 years. Then I went overseas and met a man from Wales. And I was like, oh, hi, my name's Kynan. And he's like, Kynan? Kynan? How do you spell that? I'm like, oh, it's Kynan. Actually, you know what? It's Welsh. I don't know if you knew that. He's like, oh, that's not pronounced Kynan. That's pronounced Karanan. I was like, what? What do you mean Karanan? He's like, yeah.
Wait.
That's the way we pronounce their name. Like, that's the name. That's where we like pronounce those letters together. Karanan.
How did you say it?
Karanan.
Cow?
Karanan. Well, it's pronounced more with an R after after the Y, which is, I don't know, something I didn't know that up until 25 years of my age, and then met this one person. So this whole time I'd been saying my name incorrectly, and it's just fun. It's just one of those things that you just don't know until you meet someone who actually, has actually got a bit of history back there. So, yeah.
So did you have like a
by
little...
the way,
personal identity crisis there or anything like that? Like, oh my gosh, I've been saying my name wrong for 25 years. Who am I?
Yeah, it was really weird. It sounds so much better as well. Like when he said my name, I'm going, oh man, that sounds so more it sounds way more manly than Kynan, but whatever, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But this is one of those names. I don't know. But yeah, no connection to Wales. Just a name out of a baby book. And then you find out your name's been pronounced incorrectly my entire life. And now I don't know how to say my name. I'm just sticking with Kynan, even though it's probably pronounced something completely different. Yeah.
But you can say $2 if you want.
$2? Yeah, I think so.
But hey, you are calling me Skip, so I mean,
Yeah.
when we talk, I don't know, we are doing a chat like now, or it depends now. How I know, no, actually, even when I talk to City Walk as well, and I'm chatting with him on Discord, he always calls me Skip, or I'm calling him City Walk or something like that, because I don't even know how. I think I don't know his real name right now, and we chat almost daily. But I think it's a thing, you know, when, especially when you do a chat in not private and with somebody else, either it's a group or chat or something, you have to say his YouTube channel's name or something like that. I don't know, it sounds very strange too. Because if you do remember, I was calling you by the name, if I'm not mistaken, when we met in Berlin. And most of the people, I mean, if I was asking someone, hey, have you seen Kainan? Who? You know?
Yeah.
So I had to change it back to $2.
It's funny when we all met each other in Berlin last year. Actually, it was pretty much this time last year. We all went to PDXCon and all met each other for the first times. And I remember Czardus, you were also there. And we, you know, you're just like piecing faces to the names and even just the channels. And some people knew what they looked like and other people didn't. Yeah, and you're like, oh, hey, I'm $2.20. Oh, hey, I'm Skibbeth. Hey, I'm Czardus. It just felt really weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird to go by our channel names for a while there, but I mean, it's the way we recognize each other, so it's what we use.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's definitely.
And I think I can see some City Skylines merchandise back there. Is that something
yeah.
we got? Oh, that's the board game, isn't it?
It's the board game, yeah. Yeah, I got it, I picked it up, and then I did an unboxing video so I could show everybody what was on the inside. And then at some point I might try doing a solo game as a video, but it's hard to figure out how to set it up and find the time to do that, and made sure it's in a spot where if I have to take a break, the kid doesn't come in and mess it up and stuff like that. But it's a fun game.
So I was gonna ask, what's it like?
You know, it's funny because they took screenshots from the game and they used that for the artwork for the board game. And so it's really just, I mean, it's fun to see some of the buildings that you put in game, or like the vanilla games, or the vanilla buildings, of course. But so you guys don't actually use them very often at all. But you take them, and then you can see that there's a little card here. I'll grab it.
Wow.
So you cannot mold this, right? You can't create your own assets.
No, you can't create your own assets.
Skip's like, can I use procedural objects?
Yeah, please. Oh my God, imagine that. I mean, you can if you have a Caesar. Probably with some Caesars you can PO.
Yeah, you can move it. That's an easy one you can do.
Yeah,
So
no, everyone has that.
Here's the game board.
Yeah.
Or like one of the game pieces.
Yeah.
There are like 5 or 6 of these tiles, and then you can put them out so you have some variety and stuff like that. And then you just have little pieces that are the zoning pieces, and then you put like a residential building in there, and you can only build within the space allotted to you. So it's fun.
Interesting.
I don't remember how to zone. I don't. Anyways, but the good thing is that the board game comes with the Move It mod installed.
Yes.
Because you have to pick it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have a very good precision with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It just doesn't.
I saw it at Berlin. Sorry, $2. I saw it at Berlin on some tables there, and I was curious. And me and my friends, we are actually playing. Well, not lately, but we are playing quite a lot of board games, and this could or might have been interesting, but I don't know. I don't think they would like it.
What's the point of it? Like, how do you win the City Skylines board game?
How do you win the City Skylines game? Like, how do you win on the computer? It's the same thing. But actually, there is a objective in mind where I think you have to reach a certain point without your city going bankrupt or being overwhelmed by like pollution and stuff like that. So there is a little bit of a challenge to it, but not much of a challenge.
Okay, yeah. You need mods to improve it.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Is it like any particular game? Have you played a game that's similar?
I have not, but I have seen that I saw a list of like 10 other city building board games, and it's just a genre of board games that I've never even tried. And so I don't know, I don't have any games to compare it to because of that.
Okay, so there's a whole other subgenre of board games out there that are based on cities. Okay, that makes sense. Because it just feels like a really weird branch for them to take, to go, oh, hey, we got a board game as well. I was like, I didn't realize there was a need for a board game where you do city building. Like, isn't the whole point about, you know, City Skylines is for creativity and, you know, watching your city grow, not really to like win or anything like that. You're just playing.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it too is that like Paradox started, I think, as a board game company. And so then they translated some of their strategy board games into the computer, like the early Europa Universalis or Crusader Kings. They had some elements that were board games, and then now they're kind of going back to their roots by making them into board games again. And City Skylines is a big part of Paradox now, that they might as well have made a board game out of that too, just to make sure that they have a wide range there.
I didn't know that's where they started.
Yeah, I
me
think
neither.
That's what I heard, I think. I mean, I might be wrong, and I might have just completely changed their whole backstory, but I'm pretty sure that's what I heard.
But I'm curious to look for Europa Universalis game board. Because I love that game so much.
Yeah.
And I can't play it anymore because I don't have time. But that one was one amazing game.
Well, you need to do what I've done and start a strategy games channel on the side so that you have an excuse to play these games. Because EU4 was how I got into Paradox. It was like I was really enjoying playing it, and then Cities was just like a casual game that I played City Builders in the past, and then my friend was like, hey, there's a new one, City Skylines, and so I played it a little bit when it first came out, and then set it aside for 2 years while I played EU4 and other stuff, and then came back to it and discovered all the mods that there are, and I'm like, well, there's a lot more to this game now than there was in 2015, so I think I'll keep playing it, and here I am. So
yeah, because you're so I was just gonna say, your the different series that you have on your channel are so diverse. Is there any one in particular that you're really like loving, you know, or is it just you just love the fact that you've got so many different types of series on your channel?
You know, there's one that is my most modded one, and that's Bellyford, and it's a time progressing one following like the history of London, or like deeply inspired by London and English history, starting in 1500, and I'm trying to take it to the present, but it gets terrible views on my channel. It's like most of my more vanilla content gets like 5 times as many views as my modded content, and so it's like it's hard to justify keep going on it, but I'm having so much fun with it, and I love history, and so I do it once a week, and that's it. But
yeah,
it's a fun one.
Yeah, the vanilla stuff does like just way better.
Yeah.
Because I think the mods can be really challenging for people to get their head around, and especially if you're only playing casually and you're playing the game, and then you're like, I don't know how to do this one thing. I'm gonna go on YouTube and check it out, and you see some person who's using procedural objects and intersection marking tool, and they're like stretching buildings out, and they talk using all this jargon. They're just like, I don't know what you're doing. What are you talking about? So I just think the vanilla stuff just does way better. It's really hard just to stick with the vanilla game when you know that all those assets are out there and just waiting for you to download them.
Oh yeah.
Maybe just keep in the background, pretend like you're not using them.
Well, and then the other thing too is that you set boundaries for the series, where like I have one right now, Wareham, that is completely vanilla, and I said at the very beginning, like, I'm not using any mods, except for a couple of visual ones like cinematic camera and ultimate eye candy just to get the look a little bit better. I'm not even using any custom themes at all. I'm like, this is how I'm doing it. We're going to go through, we're going to make it through all of the milestones, and that's going to be it. And it's doing the best out of any series on my channel, but I still get people that are like, I think you should use Move It. Just use Move It. It's not that bad. And it's like, yeah, I know, but that's not what we're doing.
I
have
get the
other
same
ones where
thing.
I'm doing Move It and other stuff, but it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then when you do the modded stuff, people are like, oh, you should just do vanilla. It's so much more fun. And it's like, okay, I can't please you all with every video. It's like, if you want that, watch this. You want that, then watch this. And it's like...
Yeah. And then I've just started this Springfield series where I'm like doing a Simpsons recreation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I released a Marble Mountain episode and I got all these comments about people saying like, oh, don't forget Burns Manor or don't forget to add the Quickie Mart. I'm like, this is the wrong series. This is like so completely different. Don't comment. What are you talking about? So yeah, well, I don't know. I think people get a bit lost.
And then you get people who want the old stuff too, like stuff from videos that you haven't done for like 2 years, and they're like, go back, like Springwood, do more Springwood. And it's like,
Every video I say, I get, oh, where's Sichuan province? Oh, where's Springwood? And they're like, no, finish those series. It's, I don't know, you can't win. You get like one comment here and the other comment, they clash. It doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're just gonna keep doing what you're doing. But yeah, I think you've got the right idea, having a bit of vanilla and having a bit of modded. I think that's the good balance. What about you, Skip? Would you go back to a bit of vanilla? Just a touch?
Well, I was thinking at a point.
Just a little.
But I don't think I can actually go till the end with it. I mean, I will feel I want to have some mods. But I was thinking to start a series and play the game by the book, by rules. Because that's also interesting. And I remember I done that like 2 months ago for 2 or 3 hours. I just want to play. I play the game and that's it. The vanilla game actually. And I enjoyed it because, everything requires something else. And it was interesting for 2 or 3 hours. But as soon as I zoomed out a bit and I was see how shitty my city was looking, or my little town, I was like, oh my god. So probably that's one of the things. But I can play the game by the book, even with assets and some mods. Like with money, with buildings that are doing some stuff, like shops, offices, industrial buildings and whatnot, but a bit better looking. But it is interesting. If you play vanilla, I think it's actually, I want to say fun, but not that fun. But recording probably will go a bit faster than normal. I think it should go faster because you're not doing like detailing or whatever. Mostly, so it should go like that, easier.
Do you find that size?
I don't know.
Do you find the vanilla series easier to record?
Yeah, definitely, because you're building almost constantly, whereas when you're detailing, it's like you can get lost for 5 minutes just looking for an asset. And so lately, it used to be that I would record for like 20 minutes, and that would be a video, and it would be whatever I get done in those 20 minutes, that's a video. But lately, I've been really changing it up, and now it's like I record for an hour, and if I'm just doing something that's routine or detailing or something like that, I turn that into a time lapse. And so my videos are between 20 and 30 minutes still, but they're a little bit more fast paced, and I think they've been a lot of fun to do that way too. But the other thing I was going to say is that I do a lot more vanilla because I want to see a giant city. And so it's hard to do that when you're doing detailing. And so it's like you can get a real tiny space that's highly, highly detailed, but I need to fill the whole map. That's what I always want to do. And it's like 81 tiles. I want to have something on every tile. But I've never achieved that, but it's always something that I want to do.
It gets hard, I think. Like when your city starts expanding out, it starts like this, and you're like, oh, just got the edges to do, and then you get like this, like, oh, I just got the edges to do, and then all of a sudden, like, it's this, you got all the edges, all the other stuff in the middle's like going to shit, and everything's like falling apart, and all these dreams you had are just like, I'm not going to get to that port, there's no way I'm going to build the airport, there's no way I'm going to build that town out in the corner, I'm just going to start again. You just always, there's no like, I don't know, there's no end of your city. I've never finished off a city where I'm like 100% that's exactly it, finished, completed. Have you?
Well, I think every city is always alive, and in real life that's true, where like a city is never complete in real life, and so in the game it's kind of the same way, where for me it's like I watch the city develop over time, and I might, like in my Luddington series, I was progressing through time a little bit without using mods, which I'm not really sure how I managed that, but at one point I'm like, okay, it's the 1950s, this is when the United States built their interstate highways, and they did it by looking at the map, and they just drew lines across where they wanted to go, and then they cut out neighborhoods inside the city that they thought were like bad neighborhoods. Well, they were just minority neighborhoods that they didn't want to have there anymore, so they cut them out and put a giant highway in the spot. And so I'm like, that's what we're going to do here too. And so I took a large part of my downtown and just deleted all of it and just built a highway through it, and it was a fun challenge to build with what you have there. And I like picked out a few buildings that I'm like, we're not touching this one, so we have to go like build the highway around it. And so it gave it a lot more realism to that highway too.
That's so interesting, yeah, because that's exactly how they would have done it. And it's always feels so it doesn't feel accurate when you build your city, because I always start with the highways. They're the biggest part of the road network. You start with the highways and then you do the grid afterwards, but that's just not how it's done. You got to do the dirt roads first, and then you got to pave them, and then you got to turn them into avenues and highways, and yeah, it's interesting. Did you see the series that Biskugelhausen started up, the Presidio Bay?
Yeah, I've watched a little of it. I don't have a lot of time to watch a ton of videos, so I've missed out on some of the newer stuff that people have been doing, but especially with COVID-19, it's like I used to watch a video, but really it was just listening to it on my car ride to work, and I was like, I'm working from home, and so there's no commute time at all, and it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not watching YouTube videos now, but yeah. But anyway, so I watched a little bit of Presidio Bay, and I think he's doing a great job with it, and really showing a lot of history too. Do Not Eat has done some really good stuff too with history.
Oh yeah. He's he's amazing. He only uploads like every. I feel like he just uploads like once every couple of months, and his videos always do so well. Like just people waiting for those videos to turn up, because they're really cool. It's interesting about you said about COVID, because when COVID first, when all that started happening, people started staying home. I'm thinking, I reckon a lot more people are going to be watching YouTube. I reckon we might see a bit of an influx in views on the channel, but it's funny because I didn't really see any change, and I wonder whether people are actually watching less YouTube these days, or whether I'm not really sure. I don't know if you noticed any change.
I haven't noticed too much of a change in views, and it's hard to measure too, because we had a DLC come out. I think Sunset Harbor came out in was it May? And so like that, I had a huge boost from that. But with COVID, I think the biggest impact has been ad revenue, because my ad revenue really took a hit in March and April. And I think that's because people, like businesses, are like, one, our ads aren't appropriate because nobody can go out anyway, and two, we're not going to spend any money. And so there was I think I read an article that like YouTube saw a big hit in people doing advertisements for a while. And I think that, for me at least, has started to turn back around now, where the ad revenue is going back up. But again, they forced that automatic mid-roll ads too, and it's like, I don't know if the boost is coming from the mid-roll ads being put in, or if it's from the COVID-related stuff kind of starting to wear off in advertising a little bit, but I don't know.
Yep, I noticed that too. Skip, did you notice anything like that on your channel?
Yeah, definitely. It's the first 2 months, indeed, it went down. Like the CPM was like almost half of what it was before. And now, since with the mid-rolls, I think it went up pretty well. It almost doubled like it was before COVID, which is cool. I'm happy. I can't complain. And I think it's normal. I mean, during the COVID, beside those that were selling online, and I don't think, and of course the supermarkets, I don't think anyone else wanted to do any advertising, because you have to stay safe. You don't want to spend money on advertising because your restaurant, your shop was closed in different countries and whatever, so it's hard for those people. Businesses suffered a lot, and now it's back on track, at least from what I see and hear. Yeah, probably people actually are playing the games now and not watching them because they have time to play.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, and I really do think people are doing this because, let's be honest, you make time to play games. If you want to, you can make time to play games.
And now Czardus here who wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning to play video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, as you said, people don't commute anymore. I mean, many people are working from home. They don't go to work, so which means they don't watch stuff on their phone, or they do stuff on their phone because they are home. I have to admit, when I'm staying home and I'm also working from home, I barely touch the phone, at least until 6 p.m. Even though I'm at home, but I'm either working, which is almost, or sometimes I maybe just do some extra stuff, but my phone, I barely touch it. When I was working, I was looking on my phone quite a lot, even if I had a laptop and I could do that on the laptop, but I was staying on my phone pretty much. Yeah. So things are having like two faces now. But all in all, I don't feel my views, the count of my views are going down. Actually, they are just fine. No big difference, sadly. I mean, they didn't go up like whoo crazy. No, sadly no. The number of subscribers went up pretty good, but that's it. I think we talked a few, or maybe last time, I don't even remember. The other type of channels went better, like cooking channels or whatever.
Yeah.
People had to cook. So yeah.
Well, you got some bread baking in the oven, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but this is something way before COVID existed. Or before everyone was thinking of COVID, whatever. As I said, 1 year without buying bread from the store, it's something. At least 1 year. I mean, she's doing baking bread for more than 1 year, but from time to time we're also buying something like bread or little buns to make a hamburger or whatever. But now she's doing everything that, and I'm helping her.
So you can take some of the credit.
Yes. Usually I take the bread out of the oven, so right.
That's barely done.
Then it counts.
I'm
not talking about just eating it. I am also taking it out from the oven, which is not an easy thing because you can get some burns on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's dangerous.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's very dangerous. Yeah. No, you're very brave.
Yes.
Czardus, I'm always very impressed at how often you upload. You're uploading every single day. Is that also on your other channel as well? Are you also uploading just as frequent?
I mentioned that I changed my formatting a little bit, and it used to be that I would record 20 minutes and that would be an episode no matter what happened. And so when I was doing it that way, I was every day on each channel. But now that I'm doing an hour and condensing it, it doesn't work to do that every day for every channel, but I do 5 or 6 videos a week on my cities channel, and then I do 1 or 2 on the management games channel. Then on the strategy games, that one, it really does work to keep doing the record for 20 minutes and that's it, because there's stuff happening all the time on Crusader Kings. And so that one I've been able to do a little bit more frequently because I can devote like 1 morning a week to it and get 3 videos out right there. But
Wow.
yeah, but I mean,
That's the dream.
I record an hour, maybe an hour and a half every day, and it just, that's how it cranks out. So
It's amazing. It's
But
so.
why are you not posting all of them on one channel? Because actually it's like you're kind of playing the same type of games. It's not like you're playing shooters or doing some race
right.
games or whatever.
Yeah, so I used to have them all on one channel, and I found that, like, say, a cities video would get, like, 20 times as many views as a EU4 video. Or even it was getting, like, 10 times as many views as a Planet Coaster or Transport Fever video. And so then I'm like, okay, well, the algorithm works where it pushes it out to your people who've signed up for notifications first. And then it tells all the rest of your subscribers in their feed. And it looks at how they have clicked on the video. And then if it's like, okay, well, all of the base is really liking this video, so let's push it out to other people who like the same stuff as those people do. But if that click-through rate and that initial base is really low, then YouTube won't push it out, because they'll be like, nobody wants to watch this, we're not going to even try here. And so what I found is by starting these other channels that have so I have 11,000 subscribers on my cities channel now, but my strategy games and management ones have 200 or 300, but they're getting as many views on those videos as they were when they were on my cities channel. So I'm finding that like the click-through rates on every channel are much higher, and the like retention rate is much higher because people are like, oh yeah, this is what I want to watch. It's not just another one of these things. Now the key is trying to push out and convince my 11,000 to go and subscribe to the other ones, because for now I'm making content that isn't monetized, and so it's hard to justify in that regard. But I don't know, it like I said, it's still fun, and it gives me the variety I need in order to be able to keep doing the cities content that people really like. So
That's so interesting. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that, Skip, but yeah, it's really you got to be careful with the sort of stuff you release on your channel, because if you start releasing I'm just gonna upload vlogs every single day, and it doesn't really matter if people watch them or don't watch them, then YouTube will see that viewer retention, and if no one's watching your vlogs of you baking bread every couple of days, then they're not going to probably watch your City Skylines content as well. So you got to find that like good balance. Only push out the stuff that's going to be worthwhile on your channel.
Oh, I see. I haven't thought of it like that. It makes some sense, even though, some big YouTubers are posting like a lot of different type of things, videos and whatever, but probably because they are actually doing that like forever, so people know what to watch. But also, for instance, I played Transport Fever 2, and Transport Fever 2 went pretty well. At a point, I took more views on some videos of Transport Fever 2 than on City Skylines, and I was like, what the hell? But yeah, it might make sense. I'm sure you guys are right, because I didn't do a research on this. I was just curious now, but I might start doing some research because I'm curious.
Yeah. Transport Fever. I think Transport Fever carries over to the same audience better than a lot of other games. Like Planet Coaster, I found people who like City Skylines often do not like the Planet Coaster or like the Planet series at all, and they are very anti it. It's like, okay, it's kind of the same idea, especially if you're using blueprints from the workshop that people have already made. So you're not sitting there trying to get everything in place. If you're not a detailer, then it's like, okay, you're just plopping things in. It's like City Skylines. I mean, you're building something there, but I found a lot of people who don't like the Planet series, and so it's like, okay, I'll put it on another channel. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to, but...
I guess it's also if they've subscribed to you for City Skylines content, and every time you upload City Skylines, they click on it, and then every second video is Planet Coaster. I can understand if people are thinking, oh, well, maybe I don't want to subscribe, or maybe I'm going to turn off notifications or something like that. So I can also see that, because I also really loved playing Parkitect, and I would still play it if I had more time, but it's you know, I was also noticing that a lot of people were just commenting, not a lot of people, but every now and again I get comments saying, oh, where's City Skylines? It's like, well, maybe just don't watch this one and just wait for the City Skylines content to be up. So yeah, I just think that I think that's a really interesting way of dealing with that. I've noticed a lot of people do that. I know that James Turner has 2 channels. He has Flubberleaky, and he then has his Sims Supply, or James Turner channel as well, and I never really understood why he did that, but yeah, that makes perfect sense if he's trying to, you know, reach different audiences. So yeah, I think it's a clever way of doing it.
Yeah, the only annoying thing is that anytime I want to check things, I have to click to switch between the channels, and it's like, okay, all I want to do is read comments, and it's like, gotta click this, gotta click that, gotta click that. Oh, there we go. No new comments. Yeah. Okay. Other channel. Click, click, click. Oh, yeah. No new comments. Let's go back to the city's channel. There we go. There's a whole bunch. But yeah.
So you're finding your City Skyline stuff does the best?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I have much more subscribers there. So the other ones, they're growing much faster because I think I'm trying to gain some of those other people and pull them over to the other channels. But I mean, and they're much smaller, so I think it's easier to have bigger growth when you're only 200-300 subscribers. You can get 30% growth with just a much smaller number of people. So
yeah, it'd be fun. I don't know. It sort of sounds like fun starting another channel.
Yeah, it's a fun challenge, and I think that's part of it too for me. Is that YouTube? It's like, I mean, I like playing management games, and running a YouTube channel is kind of like playing a management game where I'm looking at the numbers and trying to figure out, well, what are people going to like? How can I balance this and stuff like that? And so it's just more of the same. It's like now I have 3 of them, and or 4 if you count the kids one that I'm not really doing anything with. But yeah.
Wouldn't it be amazing if that one blew up? That kids one?
Yeah.
Because I mean, the kids are the ones who are watching YouTube. I mean, the majority of people watching it.
There are some videos my kids watch that have like 20 million views in one video, and it's like, all it is I had one where it was a guy playing with his like little the wooden trains that toddlers play with. He's just sitting there moving it around, and it's like 4 or 5 million views, and I'm like, why are you getting 4 or 5 million views by moving a wooden train across the table? Like, what?
Honestly,
but my kid was glued to it. Yeah.
Chuck and kids aren't going to complain about mid-roll ads. You could chuck in as many mid-rolls as you like. You could just be product placement, anything you like, and the kids are going to watch that on repeat. Yeah, all those unboxing videos. You could play with those little McDonald's, self-serve things. Yeah, that's where it's at. I think you're onto something.
Conan. I forgot how to pronounce it.
Conan.
Okay. Are you thinking of making a secondary channel?
I don't know. Well, we were talking about potentially doing something different than doing the podcast. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we do children's City Skyline stuff. Just do trains and transport, and I don't know, wear costumes or something. I don't know. Children's performers. Do you really want to go down that path? I don't want to do that.
I don't think I can start a new channel. I honestly don't think I can start it. I right now I don't even think of playing different type of games anymore. I've tried sometimes, but probably the reason why not having so many views is the ones that you just mentioned earlier, guys. But I mean, if I want to play something else, I might play again Transport Fever 2. But for now, City Skylines does the work. 5 years well, 5 years since this game exists. I don't know how old is my channel, but these games still have interest. People want to see stuff like this even 5 years later, which is cool. And I'm still, after 5 years of playing this game, because I played the game a lot before having my YouTube channel, I'm still into it because every single day things are changing. One single mode can change the entire game. I discovered 1 week ago the node controller mod, and I was like, why haven't I subscribed to it earlier? And so on. Intersection marking tool also changed the game for me because I'm crazy about it. And probably this is why I will never ever in my life end or finish a city, or at least not finish a city, but finish the essential parts of a city, because I am trying to fix the traffic, beautify my intersections twice, 3 times, 4 times, God knows how many times. So I'm not, I will never be able to, even if I play vanilla with only a few modes, for sure I will take like traffic manager, president mode at least. So I will try to fix the traffic from time to time. So that takes a lot of time. And from here, I will never finish a city, not even a vanilla one. So it's so bad. But I like it. I mean, if I want to play the game, I want to play the game because I like detailing, I like stuff like that. But also I want to play the game because I am doing some stuff that I really do enjoy, like doing traffic related things,
Fair enough. I still reckon we should start a vanilla series, and we maybe start a YouTube channel for kids.
Yes, the vanilla series, it would be one crazy challenge. At least for me, it would be like so. I mean, only thinking that it will be like 99% vanilla, it will be a challenge.
Yeah.
Then everything else.
I'm so tempted. I've never done any of the milestones. I actually would like to. I only really properly discovered the other day the what's it called, the objectives or the challenge, what's it called, scenarios.
The scenarios, yeah,
they look quite interesting. I know this was like introduced about 4 years ago, but I didn't even take any notice of it when they introduced it. But
yeah.
Have you guys had any experience playing with the scenarios?
No.
So I did
Czardus.
there's a traffic one that I did off camera a long time ago, and that was fun. And then right before Sunset Harbor came out, I had a little bit of a gap in my videos where like I've wrapped up one thing or needed a break from whatever I was working on, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do anything big because I knew that Sunset Harbor was coming out, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a scenario. And so I did. There's like an Alpine one, I think, or something like that, where you're trying to, I don't even remember what the objective was, but I think you're trying to build something, build a city big enough within like 5 years or something like that in the game, and you have difficult terrain to work with. And I'm like, this is kind of interesting, but I failed the objective in the video series, and it's like, maybe I don't want to do these anymore.
They look kind of fun.
Yeah, you really have to put aside making things look good and just try to do whatever you can to make the objective work. Like, I think I saw Conflict Nerd did one a while back that is like the train scenario, and what you really have to game the system where you put all your zoning in one spot and other zoning in another spot, and just have a train going back and forth and no road. And it's like, I mean, it's interesting, but it's also like, it's not realistic, and that's not how I like to play the game a lot. So it's hard to do.
Yeah, I'm tempted to do a bit of a mix of it in a new series I'm working on, but I don't know. It's like I really miss that game playing objective, element to City Skylines. At the moment it's very much just, I guess I'm trying to make money with unlimited money. I'm trying to make things look realistic. I love doing all those things, but I would love just an extra layer. I would love to see some tourism come in. I would love to, have some different types of objectives. There is like a lot going on. I guess that's the balance, isn't it? Like, you don't really want things to get so bad that your city just, I don't know, catches on fire or disintegrates or you lose the game. Like a big banner comes up and says you've lost, game over, and you have to restart. Because I mean, we are trying to play in a creative way, but just a little extra elements of an objective would be nice. But I don't know what to do. I don't know what that is. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it would be nice. I don't know what it is though.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if Skip doesn't want to do a vanilla series with you, I'd be willing to do a collab somehow like that, but we'd have to figure out how that would work.
I'm down for vanilla. Like I want an easy. I mean, I am very much like I'm talking about a new series, and I've only just started one, and I meant to have wrapped up Miami like 2 months ago, but I'm still doing that. So I'm really just I think way too. I'm always like, oh, there's always so many things I want to do, but I'm so keen for vanilla, and I reckon it'd be really cool to do something where like I don't know, there's like a collaborative thing where. You know, you pass the save between a couple of different YouTubers or something like that and invite people on. That's what we're sort of thinking about to replace the podcast. But I'm still trying to sell to sell it to Skip because he doesn't want to do it.
Man, I am. I'm like 90% into it. I want to do that. I really want to do that because, again, I want to play the game by the rules or by the book. And it's interesting. Plus, it would be a collaboration. It would be some fun there for sure. Always it's fun doing a collaboration, but doing a vanilla series and so many challenges there, it would be much more fun than.
And you played through the milestones. Sorry, Skip. You played through the milestones, Czardus?
Yeah, almost all the time. And even if I'm using some mods, I'll do it. Or sometimes I plan to play all the way through the milestones, and then after I reach the final one is when I'll unlock like whatever mods I want to use at that point. But I think it's fun to go through the milestones.
It is. Does it give you enough creative freedom so that you can, I don't know, still see the city progress in, you know, you're not going like, oh, I wish I could build this thing there, but I can't. And then you miss out doing it and then your city looks not how you want it to, or do you still feel like you've still got a bit of creative freedom and your city is progressing how you like it?
Well, my style is to rip out things and replace them when things get unlocked. And so it's like, okay, well, that block used to be one thing, but now I'm going to put this unique building here because I can use it now. And so I guess, I mean, I'm not doing intense detailing, so I'm also not spending like hours on one city block where I'm like, you know, that looks so great, I don't want to get rid of it. So it's a bit different, I think.
What mods are you using for that? Because I think that'd be so hard to be like, I'll just get this little one, and then I'll get this one, and then I'll get this one, and then all of a sudden you've got them all. Like, how many are you using?
So right now, my Wareham series is only doing the visual mobs, and so it has cinematic camera and eye candy, and I think those are the only two that one is using. I did another series right before that called Kingsport, and in that one I had Move It and Road Anarchy, and I think that was and then of course the visual ones too, but that was pretty much all that I had there. And I don't even use Traffic Manager because I don't usually see a need for it, except for like if I'm doing a roundabout, which if I'm doing an American city, I don't have to worry about roundabouts very much at all anyway. And so there's not really a need for it. So you can get away without it, yeah. But Move It and Road Anarchy are really great to use.
What about no pollutions? You're just watching that purple stuff roll in?
Well, I think sometimes, I guess in the current one, I'm letting the purple stuff roll in, and it's like, okay, well, I know it's here. You can cover some of it up now with some of that Park Life, the prop foliage that you use a lot. It's like you can cover up some of the purple ground with that. Or I had a comment that somebody left that was a really great idea to use some of the Park Life tiles to cover up that purple too. And I haven't tried that yet, but it seems like that would be a great idea, especially if you're using Move It, and it's really easy to, lay down 5 tiles in one spot, or, copy paste some of that foliage. So there are ways around it.
The creativity of vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Be fun.
Yeah. It would be fun. I don't know how we're gonna do anything there.
Yeah, sure.
Guys, I think it's time to wrap it up here.
Yes. It is getting late for me as well. Czardus, thank you so much for joining us at 5:30 in the morning. I still can't believe it, and it's it's a real pleasure to speak to you again.
Yeah, it's great to see you both again. It's hard to believe it's been almost a whole year since PDXCon, but I don't know. I wish we could have had another one this year, but not our control. So, look,
I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't be able to go anyway. I've only just had a little kid, so I am a little bit like I would have been so jealous if all you guys are sending me pictures at the next PDXCon while I'm at home changing nappies. So I okay about that.
Last year I left my wife at home for PDXCon, and we had a 2-year-old and I think the baby was like 3 months old at the time, and so she had quite a challenge for the weekend, and I felt bad, but I mean, she's like, when are you going to have a chance to have a free trip to Berlin and see all these other people? And it's like, you have to go. And it's like, all right, I guess I'll go. But yeah.
What a legend. She's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing
she is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm learning. You got to be, you've really got to help each other out. That's what I'm learning from this whole thing. Do you have any, just quick, do you have any quick tips for me? Like any quick dad advice?
Well, with YouTubing, be prepared to have the kids in the background. So it's like, and be ready that people will like it. You'll get a few comments where people are like, that baby in the background made it sound so unprofessional. It's like, well, I'm not going for professional here. I'm just going for gaming anyway. But then you'll get a lot of other comments that are like, oh, we love the baby in the background. It's so much fun to hear them growing up. And it's just like, that really added something. I think it really like adds the feeling of connectedness. Like you're letting people into your home when you let those interruptions in. And I think just be prepared for that and be willing to ride that ride too.
Okay, that's great advice. I've had to turn back on the edge scrolling on the map. You know how you can turn it off and now wherever my cursor goes, because I don't have the use of my left hand because I'm like holding a baby and I'm like only using the mouse. So that I've done that. So that's been the first thing I've changed. So thanks. I appreciate that advice. I'll remember that. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Skip, be safe, man. I'll talk to you soon as well.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.